Hey guys, and welcome back to Her Revision, a podcast for women who are rewriting the stories that they tell themselves and that the world tells them. And we're getting into a little bit of a personal thing today. Not too personal, but I feel like it is relatable, right? If you're in a place where you need to step back, reassess, and reset, then this episode is for you. So lately I had been seeing this thing on TikTok that was called a winter's arc. And I had no idea what it was. And then I started to watch more videos on it and I was like, that's exactly what I need. It just somehow brought me this sense of like, yes, that's what I need. I need quiet in the midst of my transformation, if that makes sense. So I kind of want to rewire it into calling it a midwinter reset because technically I'm resetting, but I'll be done at the top of the year. I'll be done with the hiatus that I plan to take at the top of the year. So we're going to call it a midwinter reset. And I want to talk about what this will mean for me and how it might actually mean something for you if you're interested in doing it. You might even want to join me starting tomorrow. So let's get into it. So I made the decision from October 1st to December 31st to step back from social media altogether. I need this time to really refocus on the goals that I have set and the things that I want to accomplish without all of the hustle and bustle and the busyness and the talks and the comparison and the FOMO and all of that. I want the opportunity to just hear myself and my thoughts, to really hone in on my craft, right? And I really want to cultivate the woman that I'm becoming. And I've talked about this on an episode before, like this cocoon phase, this rebirth phase, so to speak, where I'm stepping outside of who I used to be and becoming a new person. But I kind of want to talk about it on a different level and what it really will mean to kind of shut out the external noise and just focus on you for an extended amount of time. I also want to talk about something else because here's where it can get a little tricky, right? My best friend recently, maybe like a day or two ago, pulled my card, y'all. I was telling her about my idea for a winter reset and how I kind of just want to reset and refocus on, who I'm becoming and the person I am and just use this time to blossom, right? And she brought up something that I think that we all need to consider when we think about resetting or starting over or, removing yourself from other circumstances or situations, right? She said, are you sure that you're not running away from something? Are you sure that you're not creating this plan to reset because you're not getting the results that you want? Because she knows that I have a pattern of pulling back when things don't seem to be going the way that I expected them to. And she's not entirely wrong, right? She's not wrong. And I feel like that's where a lot of us find ourselves. We want to make the decision to refocus and revise who we are, but then we have people in our lives, people that know us well, who may question our choices. And not in a way that is meant to cause you harm or meant to make you feel down, but in a way that allows you to kind of reevaluate what the purpose is, to make sure. Sometimes the people around you can see patterns in yourself that you can't really see, that you don't even know that you're doing or aware of until they point it out. They see when you're retreating versus pushing through. They see when you're pulling back because you're not getting the results that you want. If they are really a part of your life and really know you, they will start to see those type of patterns within you. And for me, this is where the real work comes in, because I have to be able to take in those opinions and take in what somebody else observes from me in my actions and weigh them against my own truth. Weigh them against who I really am and what I really believe in. What I realized lately, especially when I'm trying to, come into my own person and really like develop the type of woman that I want to be and what my future self may look like, is that a lot of the times you have to take people's insights with a grain of salt, right? Not necessarily dismissing them, because you don't have to dismiss what others may recognize is a pattern of yours. But you also should not allow them to fully dictate your path. You should not allow what other people can identify within you or see, or how they may feel that you move as a way that, in a way that determines what your next step is, or what you feel is important to do or not do, based off of what they viewed from you. You should not allow that to dictate your life choices, right? It is important to remember that if you decide to reset or refocus, or kind of just like, change some things around and go into this kind of cocoon phase, or this revision phase, that you are not running from something that's difficult, that you are not trying to put off things just because you think that they are too hard, or you don't think that it's going to work, or whatever the case may be, that you're not actually running, right? But you also cannot allow other people's opinions and outside influences to determine what's best for you. It's about balance. It's about being able to differentiate, okay, they may be right, and I can take that into consideration, and I'm going to actually do what's best for me in this regard. And I understand where you're coming from, but maybe this is actually how I feel. Or it's balance. You do have to check in with yourself. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. Are you running? Are you choosing to reset because it's truly what you need? Or are you just avoiding discomfort? And once you've answered those questions, it's really about taking the best advice from people who really know you and who truly have your best interests at heart, and then doing what's best for you in your journey. Because at the end of the day, what I've determined is nobody knows you like you know you, and how God knows you. When it really boils down to it, and me and my best friend were literally just talking about this today, but there are certain things where even if you talk to somebody every day, you could know who they are, but you are not in their head. You do not know. At any point in time, I could decide that I want to be this type of person. From the moment that I decide that, I am who I say I am. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nobody really knows the ins and outs or the intricate details for how you change your mind about things, or how you decide to live your life. Nobody knows everything about you. Nobody is living in your skin, having to deal with your day-to-day and what you have to go through, and the things that you have to work through, and the obstacles that you have to face. You have to make decisions that challenge you, but also give you grace and space to grow. And I think for me right now, I'm in that grace and space sort of era, where I want to give myself grace, because I know that I've been pushing myself, and I've been very hard on myself to not go back to old mistakes that I used to go back to not give up, to stay the course. But I also have been pushing myself so hard to the point where it's like, all right, because I'm feeling the need to take a break and kind of reset, that I have this guilty feeling that maybe I shouldn't. Because if I do, then am I kind of giving in to the expectation that I'm giving up? Like, is that why I was reminded of the fact that, are you doing this? Because I am prone to doing that. That is a pattern of mine. So being able to say, no, this is the reason why I'm giving myself grace and space to become a new person, to learn and develop new habits, to come up with new goals and new ideas for myself. That's the era that I'm in. For me, I am refocusing on crafting the woman that I want to be and who I truly believe I can be, without the external social media noise and the constant fear of missing out and the constant comparison that weighs you down. Because it can weigh you down, being on social media. For me personally, being on social media 24/7, whether for creativity or work reasons, or because, part of my daily life, it can weigh you down. I'm giving myself the opportunity to kind of recharge on my own terms, in the way that I see fit, in the way that I know that can really, reset and rejuvenate me. But here's the thing. I'm not completely removing myself from my craft. I'm not. Okay, I'm not. That is one thing I feel like you have to make sure of. Yes, you can give yourself time, specifically for this winter arc or this winter reset era, if you choose to do so. You can give yourself time to reset and refocus your goals and recreate the person that you're trying to become. But you also cannot give up on what you have going on. You cannot stop that altogether. So for me, while I am stepping away from social media and kind of creating that distance from that for this time period, I'm also challenging myself to reconnect with you all in a different way. So I am starting a newsletter that's going to be able to share insight and updates and recaps of the episode, and even for you guys to reach back out to me if you have any stories you want to share. Maybe I have questions on the podcast that I want to get you guys' insight on. All of that will be available, and I really want to cultivate a tighter community, because I feel like even with social media, how it can bring strangers together, sometimes it can be too vast where it feels like it's not as personal as I would like it to be when it comes to like this podcast. So I do want to be able to cultivate a tighter knit community. So I'm going to start a newsletter, so be on the lookout for that. All of that information will be ready to be available. I should have the link listed in the description for y'all to go ahead and sign up for the newsletter. Click on the link, use the sign up form. Subscribe to the newsletter, you guys. I am very excited about this, and I really want to, get connected. So if you're interested, go ahead, press that subscribe button wherever it is. Look in the description or the YouTube page, wherever it is. It's going to be somewhere within this episode. So go ahead, click on that link. Thank you. This midwinter reset, it is all about protecting your peace, protecting your energy, your aura, as well as your growth. And if you have people in your life that are questioning your motives, or they are trying to make sure that, you are not falling back into old habits and old traps, take that into consideration. Take what they are saying into consideration, because they mean you well. But don't let it deter you. Don't let it get you down. And don't let it make you feel like maybe it's not a good decision for you. If you know that the decision that you are making to reset or refocus or pull back from whatever it is that you are trying to, stray away from a little bit, if it's within your best interest, if it will be pertinent to your growth, do it. We all have moments where we want to step back and retreat and focus on who we are becoming, whether that's something in your career or in your relationships or even in your personal life. But just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and not out of fear or avoidance. So as I go through my journey for the next 3 months, I encourage you to please take whatever steps you need to in whatever area of your life that may look like. And I'll be here sharing my process through the podcast, even if I'm not active on social media. Hopefully this will mean that the people that's actually come and found me in some sort of way, and like y'all really rocking with me, and I appreciate y'all, right? I'm committed to my craft, and I'm committed to showing up for myself in ways that I never have, and I'm encouraging you guys to do the same. And just so I can give you guys a little bit more insight, basically, this midwinter reset will be a time for me for the next 3 months to really just lock in on my craft. I wrote a list of the different goals that I want to have, just so I can follow along with them in each aspect of my life. So spiritually, where I want to see growth, I wrote down a few goals for that. With the podcast, where I want to see growth. Financially, where I wrote down at least 1 to 2 goals, because I want to be realistic. 3 months seems like a long time, but I also don't want to overpower the time and fully throw 16 goals in there. I want to be realistic so that I can actively see transformation, right? So if you're wanting to do it, I urge you. We're starting tomorrow, y'all. So, you can adjust the days how you see fit, but I'm starting tomorrow, October 1st through December 31st. And write down a list of goals tonight. And total, I have 6 goals total in every category that I just told you about that I really want to, hone in on. You can do the same. And let's really lock in. No social media. That's no TikTok, no Instagram, no Facebook, no X, none of that. None of that. Acceptable apps are YouTube, because that's very wholehearted, and clearly you're going to be watching me off of YouTube if you watch the podcast. And Pinterest, because Pinterest have always been wholehearted, just inspiration. That's all we need, okay? Pinterest has never given me FOMO, not a day in my life. So yeah, that's basically how the midwinter reset will be for me. And I hope you guys come back on January 1st and are better than ever. If you want to follow along during this time, please sign up for my newsletter and I will keep you guys updated. As always, thank you guys so much for just being here, being a part of the Her Revision community, and love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube, and don't forget to rate the podcast if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts. I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye.